Hey, everybody. Hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today, that word is some. Some. Now, you saw that picture up there. That quote is it's a quote from a Harvard professor and is a businessman and teacher, teaching about strategy, things like that, uh, among business, rather. And so the thing that he said, and you saw the quote, says, "You can't be all things to all people." And part of that from a business strategy is, okay, you're not going to be able to please everybody. So go after the group that you want to, choose the ones that, you're not going to be looking to sell to or whatever. And so that sounds like it makes sense to us. It kind of along the same frame. We say, well, you can't please everybody, right? You can't make everybody happy. Now we know that to be true. But it's interesting to have that thought that's out there in the world and then to hear what Paul says. In First Corinthians chapter 9 today, and remember in context of where he's been going and what he's kind of building on. And yesterday we talked about stumbling, right? Not causing another to stumble. And he was dealing with a lot of food and things like that. But then he continues that same thought, and there's something that he says here today that I've heard people misuse and take out of place, take out of context, and even misapply to their own lives, basically making excuses for the way that they live, claiming that it is still okay with God. Now that'll make sense here in a moment when we read this, and I pray that it will make sense from even the quote there from Michael Porter. So, First Corinthians chapter 9, looking at verses 19 through 23 today. For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win the more. And to the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might win Jews. To those who are under the law, as under the law, that I might win those who are under the law. To those who are without law, as without law, not being without law toward God, but under law toward Christ, that I might win those who are without law. To the weak, I became as weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. Now, this I do for the gospel's sake, that I may be partaker of it with you. I've become all things to all men, that I might win some. That's something to think about. And as you look at this, some say, okay, well, man, he was really two faced, right? I mean, he just changed his appearance, he changed his attitude, changed the way he talked, he changed all these things. That is not what he's saying, right? You can't change that much about you without and people actually take you seriously. The thing is that think about even just along the food lines and even the other confrontations and or disagreements that he had with Peter in dealing with how they were even congregating with the Jews and with Gentiles. So he says, look, it would be like saying this: when I go to eat with the Jews, fine, we'll follow the Mosaic law. I'm not under the Mosaic law. I'm under the law of Christ. He said, but you know what? When I'm with them, that's fine. We'll do things the way they want to do them because I'm trying to win them. Same thing. He says, look, when I eat with the Gentiles, I know that food isn't what's gonna, isn't the main thing. So when I eat with them, hey, I'll eat whatever they're serving as well. Now you think about even the time that he had Timothy so that he could better minister, that he told him, "Hey, you need to be circumcised so that they could win more." See, there are times where we have to understand that if we are truly serving God with everything that we have and we are truly loving our neighbor as ourselves, that not not that we're trying to change everything just to win them, like to turn them over to our side. It's saying, look, I'm willing to come where you are, and because I want you to know that I care about you, and I want you to know that I love you, and that I want you to hear what I have to say. Now, how could we put that in our terms today? Because as you go through that list, you say, well, wait a minute, he was with those who were without law, and man, he started acting like the lost. No, because see, today our world would take that to say, okay, well, I've got to become transgender to reach out to those people. I've got to become homosexual to reach out to that group of people. I've got to do this to reach this. No, that's taking it out of context. He's saying those that were weak in their faith. It'd be the same way that, man, you come to a lost person who knows nothing about God. You don't come to them with great theological and philosophical words, and you come to them as I quoted Sunday, and I have to look and see. I cannot remember who said it first, but it was saying that evangelism is essentially one beggar telling another beggar where to find bread. And that's what we do when we get to that point. Now, if it's kind of like if you were in a room full of people that were doctors and lawyers and had much higher education, that yes, you would speak on a much higher level, something that would appeal to them. It'd be the same way if you were going to go into that same room with a room full of doctors and lawyers, that you might even dress up to the occasion, something that they would maybe it related to them. Maybe that's the best word we could use today. Whereas if you were going to reach the homeless, you wouldn't show up in your three-piece suit and your $500 pair of shoes. No, what you would do is show up, and not necessarily that you look like you were homeless, but that you looked like you just had what you needed. That's what he means when he says, I've become all things to all men that I might win some. He knew it wasn't always going to work. He knew it wasn't always going to be the best thing. But today, I wonder if we've just believed the business mentality and said, look, well, you can't win them all. And we don't even try to win some. Surely you can't please everybody. Surely you cannot reach everybody. But if you just maybe stepping out of your comfort zone to be able to relate more to a lost person, relate more to another brother or sister in Christ, to point them, to encourage them in their walk, would it not be worth it? Not to win them all. Oh, I wish we could, but to just win some. God bless you. And I pray you have a great, great day.